my dear students. Today we are going to start our unit 11 in primary 1. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. Lesson 1. Exercise number 1 in page 68 in your student's book. It says, look, listen and read. Can you look at the picture? You will find a very big old building, and this big old building is called fort. Fort. The fort is like a castle, an old castle. It's a big building that they used to use old days in order to protect a city, okay? To protect a city from any enemy that wants to come and to harm this city. So it's a building, it's a big building that they build in order to protect the city. Here we have Hannah, their mom and their dad. Now, here we are in Alexandria. Here we are in Alexandria. What is the time? She's asking about the time. Hani will say it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Let's go to the beach. Let's a sudden idea. Let's a sudden idea. Let's go to the beach. Their mom will say, let's visit Qaibay Fort at 12 o'clock. Let's visit Qaibay Fort at 12 o'clock. Then their dad will say, let's eat fish at restaurant at 6 o'clock. And we said before, when we read a clock or when we read the time, there is a short arm and long arm in the clock. When the short arm points to 6 and the long arm points to 12, it's 6 o'clock. So when you find that the long arm points to 12, it means o'clock. I will say o'clock. Okay. Here we have fort is a huge castle or a huge building that the soldiers used to defend their cities during wars. Okay. When there is a war, it's a big fighting. Okay. The soldiers, in order to protect in the army, in order to protect the city, they build this huge castle or huge building in order to defend the city. We always use at, preposition at, with time, okay? We use at with time. Let's go to the playground at 12 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, at 4 o'clock. So before saying the time, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I say at 6 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, at 12 o'clock. So we use at with time. Here we have a note. It says that we say go to a restaurant, go to a restaurant, have breakfast, have breakfast, have lunch, get up, get up. Go to the beach, go to the playground, go to bed. So I have go to restaurant, go to beach, go to the playground, go to bed. I have breakfast, have lunch. When I wake up, I say get up and visit a fort, visit the library. Visit a fort and visit the library. At the fish restaurant, and the restaurant is a place where we go in order to sit down and eat a meal in it. Exercise number 1, read and circle the numbers. Here, this picture is a menu of a restaurant. It's a menu of a restaurant. We have the address. Address means a place. The address means the place of the restaurant. Where is the restaurant? This is the address. The time when the restaurant opened and closed. The phone number. We have the different kind of food and the price of each dish. The price of each dish. Now, we have the name of the restaurant. It's called Muntaza Fish Restaurant. Muntaza Fish Restaurant. The address is 321 The Corniche, Alexandria, Egypt, open at 12 o'clock and till 10 o'clock every day, 12 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night every day. The phone number of this restaurant is 02-111-15555. Okay, 4 ones and 4 fives. What can you eat in this restaurant? First of all, we have soups. Lentil soup for 4 LE, 4 pounds. Fish soup for 8 pounds. Then we have dips. Dips, it's something you are going to take with bread and put in your mouth. Dips, we have hummus for 3 pounds. We have tahina for 3 pounds. Then we have salad for 5 pounds. We have bread for 2 pounds. We have fish for 18 pounds. We have crab for 20 pounds. We have shrimp for 15 pounds. Okay? And all those numbers are the prices. The price means the amount of money I have to give in order to take this dish or this meal. The amount of money that I have to pay for each meal. Then we have drinks. We have water 1 liter, it's for 5 pounds. And we have orange juice for 500 milli, 7 pounds. Now find exercise number 2, find and point them right, okay? Number 1, a telephone number. What is the telephone number of the restaurant? You can see it in the menu, it's 02-1111-5555. Number 2, the prices. All the prices of all the dishes. We have 4 LE, 8 LE, 3 LE, 2 LE, 5 LE, and 18 LE. Okay? All the prices that you can find in the menu. Number 3, a building number. The building number is the number in the address. The number at the beginning of the address, which is 321. We have the address which is 321 El Corniche, Alexandria, right? This is 321, the number of the building. Number 4, a time. The time. The restaurant opens from 12 to 10 o'clock. From 12 o'clock to 10 o'clock. This is the time. Now, how much water is in a bottle? How much water is in a bottle? It's 1 liter. It's 1 liter. Learn language adverbs of frequency. Now, we said before in the present simple tense, there are some keywords that shows us that this sentence is present simple tense. Okay? Those words or those keywords were always, usually, often, sometimes, and never. And often can be said as often or often. Often and often. Both are right, okay? Always, usually, often, sometimes, and never. Those are called also as adverb of frequency. Adverbs of frequency. It shows me how many times I'm doing an action. Always, it means that I'm doing this action all the time. Sometimes I do it most of the time. I do this action most of the time. Often or often, I do this action less than usually. Sometimes it means that I do it maybe once in the week, once in a month, and never it means that I don't do this action at all. I don't do this action at all. Now, exercise number 1 in your book, look, listen, and read. How often do you go to a restaurant? When I want an answer with always, usually, often, sometimes I ask how often. How often or how often? How often do you go to a restaurant? The answer is sometimes. So when I answer with always or usually or often, or sometimes the question will be with how often. How often do you go to a restaurant? I sometimes go to a restaurant. How often do you visit the library? How often do you visit the library? I often visit the library. I often visit the library. Okay? We use how often or how often in order to ask questions about frequency. In order to ask questions about frequency. For example, how often do you wake up early? I always wake up early. I sometimes wake up early. How often do she go to the cinema? Does she go to the cinema? Does she go to the cinema? She usually goes to the cinema. She usually goes to the cinema. So, when I ask how often, this word, how often, you are going to answer with always or usually or often or sometimes or never. When I ask with how often, again primary one, answer with one of those key words of the present simple tense which are called the frequency of time. Okay? Adverb of frequency, sorry, adverbs of frequency. Always or usually, often or sometimes or never. Here, adverb of frequency are, can you see? Always, it's the most strong one. It's the strongest adverb. That's something that I'm doing all the time. Always. Then, less than always, we have usually. Then, often. Then, sometimes. Then, never. I never do this action. Never. Okay? Adverbs of frequency come with the present simple tense. Like I said to you, adverbs of frequency are key words for the present simple tense. When you see one of those words in a sentence, it means that this sentence is a present simple tense. They come before the main verb. We have always, usually, often, sometimes, and never, and then we have a verb. She sometimes goes to the cinema. Sometimes, then goes. The verb is the main verb. I sometimes visit my grandma. Okay, sometimes, and then we have the verb which is visit. So, always, usually, often, sometimes, and never, there is a verb that comes after them. For example, he always wakes up early. It means that every day he is doing that, he does it every day, okay? So, he always wake up early. Number 2, Sarah usually goes to the club at weekends, okay? Sarah usually goes to the club at weekends. Yusuf often wears shirts. Not all the time, not all the time. It's very few times, okay? So, Yusuf often wears shirts. We sometimes play tennis, okay? The sun never, this is something which never happens. The sun never rises from the west. The sun never rises from the west. Exercise number 2, write right or wrong, then ask and answer. Go to the beach. Choose if you are doing this action usually or always or often or sometimes or never. Play football. Are you doing it all the time or usually or often or sometimes or never? Go to the playground. Also, you are going to choose beside it always or usually or often or sometimes or never. The same with go swimming and read a book. Here we did it, go to the beach, we make it sometimes, play football, go swimming and read a book. Thank you for listening to me, primary one, in this lesson. See you next lesson.